All right, welcome back everyone to the Collective Intelligence Block Party number 14, where we are in overtime. We're in the 25th hour, and we've just been having a super cool time. So we're about to give an overview to Phalan of what we've been working on. But first, let me give Phalan an opportunity to introduce himself briefly or long or whatever you want to share. Feel free, and no pressure. By the way, there's never any pressure to talk on the block party. Talking is always optional, including right now.
Hello, everyone. Hello, Shankar, Miles, Emma, Jackie, Cayman. And I think I've got everybody who's here now, right? Okay. I'm Phalan. I am a first generation Haitian person here in this country. Came here when I was about 4. I've always been this person, and I am happy to find this space here where nearly like minds and spirits and just cool people, badasses. I'm a UX designer currently. It's not how I earn my money. I actually work with underserved communities. Specifically, my nighttime job deals with adults with developmental disabilities. But my passion currently is my startup. I'm a full stack developer. I'm developing a series of tools that work in augmented reality and in the flat 2D space also. My take is that I'm creating tools to help people augment reality. And I've come up with a couple of really interesting ones, and I think that they are going to be quite disruptive. I've been really worried about them because of how disruptive they could potentially be, and I've been working with a series of really interesting, smart people to help me develop them, and to maintain a certain ethical standard. I've kind of chosen to not necessarily go the traditional enterprise route with it. It's not really my motivation to be the next Jeff Bezos. I definitely am more leaned in towards making impact. I'm a writer, I'm a screenwriter. My technology and a lot of the stuff that I've been working on has been inspired by my creative flow process. I'm a father. I was a husband, who will be again. Well, I'm embracing the divine feminine in all of her manifestations and iterations as I encounter them. With that, I'm complete. I think that's as accurate a picture of that I can paint currently, who I am.
Beautiful. Thank you, Phalan. So cool. Oh my goodness. And what a fit. Brother, welcome home.
Hello.
Welcome home to the block party. Oh my goodness. I don't know where to begin, but let me start with what we've been cooking up most recently, and that's kind of the entry point into so much cool stuff. So, and Jackie, please jump in. You've got priority, so just feel free if you want to jump in anytime. Likewise, everyone, and that's really the key to this is collective intelligence. All of us coming together, no matter where we are, no matter where we're coming from, with a common mission. And it starts with a mission to feed the world. And it's not just about feeding the world. it's about feeding the world the right kind of foods, immune boosting, whole food, plant-based diets, and in times of pandemic right now, delivered directly to everyone's home. So feed everyone, all delivered directly to everyone's home all around the world. Okay, and that that is the heart and the backbone of Operation Stone Soup, just like the story. Now, do you know the story Stone Soup? Phalan?
No, I don't.
Okay, so the story Stone Soup, here it is in a nutshell, but it's worthy of a longer reading, or watching a short film or whatever. But here it is in a nutshell. Is there are these three soldiers. It's well, you really can't tell the story without telling it, right, completely. So let me just tell the story, right? There's no nutshell. Here's the story. So it's the end of World War I, and these three soldiers are walking across France back to wherever they came from, right? And they're walking through the French countryside. Hey, do you mind if I mute you, Phalan, or do you want to mute yourself, just because we get a little feedback?
Echo, sure. Sorry
Yeah,
about
yeah.
that.
Oh, no problem. And just feel free to unmute anytime. Just interject anytime. But so they're walking across France, and they've got weeks to go, because it's a lot of walking to get to where to back home. And Europe is devastated. I mean, the good thing is the war is over, but it's just left the place in shambles, and people are hungry and this and that. And so it's mid-afternoon, and they're arriving at a village, and they're tired, and they figure maybe we spend the night here. And so they ask, is there a place where we can kind of crash out in somebody's barn or something like that? Yeah, no problem. They're over there. That's fine. Yeah, great. Anybody got any food? No, there's no food. Now, during the war, when armies would go through the towns across Europe, they would just say, eminent domain, we need the food. We're fighting to protect you, so we need the food. So the villagers were just, they just had so much of their food taken. They're undernourished, they're whatever. And so they said, look, we have no more food. We have no food. It's all been taken. Okay. So let me get this straight. There's no food in the town. That's right. Well, let's make stone soup for everyone. And the villagers are like, what? Yeah, does anyone have like a big pot we can borrow? Big pot, the biggest you got. Yeah, sure. I mean, what are they going to do? Run off with this giant cast iron pot? I don't think so. So, yeah, all right, well, loan them the pot. They're not going to break it, so loan them the pot. So the soldiers fill up the pot with water from the nearby stream, and then one of the soldiers goes down and gets a smooth stone from the stream, washes it off really good, takes it, puts it in the pot with the water. They go get some firewood, start a fire. Meanwhile, people are gathering around, looking to see what's going on. We're making stone soup for the whole village, and word spreads that they're making soup for the whole village, stone soup, right? Now, so as all this is going on, a farmer shows up, and he's like, I've got all these carrots that would go bad if they don't get eaten. Can I contribute them to this? Yeah, sure. So farmer comes along, slices up the carrots, puts it in the soup. Another farmer comes along and says, that's right, and says, hey, I've got these onions, they'll go bad if we don't eat them in time. Can I contribute these to the soup? Yeah, sure. Chop. There we go. Right? And so on, and so on, and so on. Next thing you know, you've got this thriving stone soup, and the whole village eats. And there's like so many cool lessons to that. There's the obvious one of just sharing, right? But for me, one of the most powerful lessons is that to take this whole thing on, how many ingredients to the soup did the soldiers have to begin with? They didn't have half they didn't have 10%. They had 0% of the ingredients. But you know what? They just started anyway. and then support came pouring in. And that's exactly what's going to happen in Brooklyn, Phalan, when we launch the press conference announcing to the world Brooklyn Eats, the program Brooklyn Eats, to feed everyone in Brooklyn.
I have everything to contribute to that. I have some carrots. The Dow,
Love it. Love it.
Is an amazing carrot that I can contribute to that, and some strategies that I was thinking through to maintain a regenerative hydroponic growth commons in Brooklyn. So, like, I can send you the template that I have developed for that, and
love it.
I'd just
love
like to
it.
add, what I'd like to say, Jamin, is you started this stone soup when you first decided, I'm going to have a public Google Hangout. And ever since then, people have been tossing stuff into the pot. Like today already, the pot was enhanced with Phalan telling me about DAO, D-A-U. I don't totally understand it, but
DAO.
I'm sorry, what is DAO? So I don't totally, understand it, but the ingredient has been thrown into the soup, right? And I'm starting to get a taste of it. And, I could go, I take a lot of notes, and I can go back. I have notes from way back when you first started the stone soup on Google Hangout, and then it shifted into, where we are here today on Zoom. And so the soup is building, so thank you, Jamin.
Thank you, Miles. And thank you, Phalan. Well, seriously, welcome home, brother.
Thank you.
Because really, we're all finding our home here. Yeah. And it's just it's been quite a journey, and it's just great to be home.
Yeah, I was really struggling with finding help. And I was getting a little bit discouraged because I was just bringing like all of these amazing people together, these data scientists and social scientists and some creatives to try to help me think through this. Originally, it was an idea that another good brother, Ori, had started. I thought about it, and I'm like, I want to start a Brooklyn DAO to address food instability, potential food instability, or just ongoing food instability. And I want to call it the Brooklyn DAO. And a friend of mine, Aaron, was like, a mutual friend of Lauren and I, Aaron was like, well, I know the guy who actually started the first Brooklyn DAO. You should talk to him. And I was speaking to him, and he was giving me insight into some of the lessons learned from his iteration of it. And I said, hey, let me be your backup singer. Let's relaunch it. Let's do it all over again. And of course, everyone's pretty busy, and I've been thinking about it rather thoroughly, and still just bringing people over to see what they can contribute to that soup. And here I am meeting the pot. I love it.
This is the pot, and we're all the ingredients, and more ingredients are jumping into the pot, and it's just building. It's getting more flavor. There's all this different spice coming in, and it's an amazing pot. Great way to put it, Phalan.
Super cool. Awesome. So anyway, so to build on the vision, so what you're talking about with all this, like, I mean, you are just speaking right to the heart of everything we've been saying all day long, with communal, hydroponic, permaculture, community gardens, rooftop gardens, all integrated as one big whole, right? And the promise is, and I'll make this promise in Brooklyn, I will come to Brooklyn. Right now I'm in Whidbey Island, Washington, way over on the West Coast, another big island in the United States, right? Long Island and Whidbey Island are two of the biggest in the continental United States. Especially if you don't include Alaska and all those islands. But anyway, I will come there. I will promise, and I won't be the only one. A bunch of us are promising everyone in Brooklyn will be fed from now on, going forward. No exceptions. We won't take a day off. We won't take a meal off, right? And if there is a grandma on the third floor somewhere who's hungry, I'll bicycle the food myself. But everybody in Brooklyn eats from now on. No exceptions, ever again.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
Right. And here's the cool thing. Here's where the dominoes start to tumble. We'll come back to Brooklyn in a second, but once we've done Brooklyn, every borough in New York is going to demand this. And we'll deliver. We will deliver. Right? And then all of New York State will want it. And then the whole Eastern Seaboard. Then the whole United States. And you know what? The whole world. Right? I'll flash an image up on the screen. This is the first community cafe we launched in Southern California to feed an entire community for free. Making food a basic human right. Making basic human needs, basic human rights. And you know where I wanted to go next? Haiti. I said, look, we've got an island 90 miles off of our coast that's suffering malnutrition like a poor African country. This is absurd, right? My God, how many shiploads of beans, rice, and other vital nutrients, how many vegetable starts, how much soil, how many greenhouses, material, what's it gonna take? But let's just freaking do it already, right? And so next stop, Haiti, seriously. Next stop, the world, right? Because guess what? Now with the world all hyper-connected through this medium, this block party is open to the whole world. Part of the reason we do it for 24 hours is to make it world-friendly. There's no time zone that has any advantage over any other time zone anywhere in the world. It sweeps the full clock, wherever you are, okay? So now that we have this platform of hyper-connectivity through video conferencing to everyone else, and the next stage is to organize this network of conversations, because right now it's a universe of conversations, but what's missing are the connections. So we're going to turn it into a network of conversations, an intelligent network. You talk about augmented reality. We're working on augmented intelligence, not by augmenting a brain, by sticking something in it or something like that, but just getting the brains connected. See, right now, our 6 brains are connected. And we're connected in the high bandwidth trunk line connection that is full sensory, audio, visual, facial expressions. Jamin's raising his eyebrows. Jamin's using his hands. Jamin's dancing. Jamin's singing. Jamin's telling stories. Jamin's pointing to stories. Jamin's referencing other stuff that we all understand, right? And etc. So this is collective intelligence right here. Expand it to a network that includes even 1% of humanity and make it an intelligent network, and we've got collective super intelligence.
Yes.
To borrow from Nick Bostrom's book Superintelligence, which is promoted by Bill Gates. So what's going to happen is, the way I see it is, everything starts somewhere. And so we're going to create this singularity in Brooklyn. I refer to it as the Brooklyn singularity, where we put all our eggs in that one basket initially, right? I make the promise to Brooklyn. I don't make it anywhere else. I say, look, I've moved to Brooklyn. And I don't know, who knows how many thousands of others will take the pledge with me, right? But we concentrate on Brooklyn. We say first Brooklyn, then we'll take care of everywhere else. But we first need the model, right? We first need the cookie cutter so we can go stamp it all over the place, And we're going to make that cookie cutter in no other place than Brooklyn, period, end of story, right? And so here we are. So we do a press conference and we announce this whole thing. We've already got a team of doctors at the ready who are experts in nutrition, immunology, you name it. Super diverse, women heavy, and women of color specifically, and across full spectrum of all the disciplines, MDs, every one of them, and very accomplished. And with that, we handle the nutrition, immunology, and why it needs to be plant-based. From a medical standpoint, meanwhile, you've got environmental and climate reasons why it needs to be plant-based as well. Then we bring in the logistics, okay? And that breaks down to, there's kind of, roughly you could break it down into 3 levels, just for simplicity. In the home, what are you growing in your own home? In indoor hydroponics, rooftop gardens, windowsill gardens, etc. The next level is community gardens, community permaculture, community hydroponics, etc. within Brooklyn. And then the third level is outside of Brooklyn, farms on Long Island, etc. Right? All the way to grains grown in other states. So with that 3-tiered level, we simply seek to optimize the whole of it, right? And we, Stone Soup style, we focus on starting, right? We don't try to get all the ingredients lined up. We start, and we start with the promise. We're going to feed everyone, right? And we start. Let's say we start with, I'm just arbitrarily saying minimum 10 truckloads of food, right? That we go and start the delivery of. Here's what the media is not going to do. What they're not going to do is, go to every last household and find houses that we didn't deliver to that day, right? For whatever reason, okay? And say, look, they didn't. Well, has anyone else fed all of Brooklyn? Well, then shut up. We're starting, right? And what's going to happen? What's going to happen. There's going to be an outpouring of support. And the webpage where we've got donations facilitated for that. And yes, I'm humble enough to accept donations accepted. Listen, when it comes to feeding starving 3-year-old girls, yes, I'll accept donations. I'm not, above that, shall we say. Okay? The donations it's going to be a river of money pouring in. It's going to be farmers saying, hey, here's my produce, just come and get it, right? There's going to be volunteers pouring in from all the boroughs and from the neighboring states, right? Brigades saying, we're here to support, we're here to take the pledge, right? So we're going to feed all of Brooklyn. There's going to be restaurants signing up, hey, we're going to reopen to support you. Bicyclists with trailers are going to show up to take the foods to the far corners of Brooklyn, right? People with trucks, station wagons, whatever it takes.
Yeah, what I was actually thinking about is along those same lines, but I was thinking more regenerative capacity as opposed to just handing out food, but people.
You said what? I'm sorry, I missed a word. What kind of capacity as opposed to handing out food?
Regenerative capacity as opposed to just handing out food. I was thinking adopting. I don't know if you know Fresh Direct or like any of those companies that deliver food. I was looking at some of these storage units. There's like all of these storage units all around the city, and who knows what's going to happen with all of these commercial spaces possibly finding less utility because people are doing this. If there's a way to repurpose that stuff, I love like the sci-fi flicks where you see vines and stuff growing out of these huge office buildings and food and greenery like growing out of these metropolis places. Like that's this vision that I kind of had of what Brooklyn looks like in the future. I was trying to share my I was trying to share this into chats. I'll just share it really quickly. Um, sorry, you disabled the share on the thing. It's just a two
Oh,
second.
it's back. It's back. I just do that for security, since we've had some kind of frankly nightmare scenarios with people
Yeah,
Zoom bombing. But anyway, but you're good to go.
yeah. This is what this is what I created. This is part of it that I like, and and that's what I want to promote. The book and where technology and community met the way to the future. And um, yeah, just a little slide. I was playing with a couple of one of the narrative slide decks, hoping to kind of like focus in on the messaging outside of the logistics.
Love it. Love it.
Mhm. So the system is broken. I'm not sure the people who built this thought it would end up this way. Here we are now, all part of a great experiment meant to free us from the tyranny of bad choices. Because we, the people, would decide. It's a good thing that we decided then. And this picture was just thinking about McCain before he died. He voted to make sure that Obamacare wasn't repealed. Um, it's like one of the last things he did before he died. And it's a good thing because when COVID popped up, if that part of the infrastructure wasn't still together, it could have been so much worse. No one knows what the future holds. We can decide again. Would it be the worst? Sorry. Yeah, would it be the worst idea? Um, Worst idea to lend a small part of your voice to a real say? The Brooklyn Dial, where technology and community met on their way to the future. Speak truth to power. Power is listening. And of course, a push to reflection that she's looking at in the mirror through power is like self-generated and not necessarily um, intrinsically tied to any particular system. We are a democracy. We are the system, and we can choose to change our minds. We can choose to redirect our agency. We're all empowered. So that's one little slide deck that I've been kind of like playing with and trying to refine. And yeah, thanks for allowing me to share. I'll send like some more stuff to whoever's interested. You know.
Oh, beautiful. Phalan, beautiful. Oh my goodness. Seriously, welcome home, brother. Wow, it hasn't been the same without you, and it'll never be the same. Yeah, again.
Happy to be here.
Yeah.
Happy to be here. Happy to bring some carrots to the pot.
No, and listen, it's becoming contagious. Bringing carrots to the stone soup is becoming contagious, right? And so what's going to happen? It's kind of like, if I had to show it visually, it would sort of be like this whole big cloud all coming in, compressing in at a point, maximum compression, and then boom, bouncing back out again. Okay. And what this is the whole world supporting Brooklyn. There's literally a group forming in Ireland called, I kid you not, so the program in Brooklyn is called Brooklyn Eats. Brooklyn Eats, right? Emery, who's up here on the screen, came up with it. He's in Montreal, Canada. And so there's a group forming in Ireland called Ireland Loves Brooklyn Eats. And they're supporting Brooklyn Eats. And of course, you know, gobs of Irish immigrants came through Brooklyn, right? And of course, there's a lot of Irish Americans. Anyways, it's just that's just one example, right? Look at the support from Canada. Look at the support from all over the world. So support's going to come pouring in, not just financial, material, food, equipment, etc., and people, but intelligence, people on video conferences that are around this core of what I'm calling the Brooklyn singularity, right? So the world helps Brooklyn get this thing launched, okay? Helps Brooklyn create the model. And then Brooklyn returns the favor by exporting the model all around the world, and Brooklyn becomes the de facto world capital for food, world capital for the new food, for new food, food 2.0.
For the new paradigm. That was my plan. I'm happy to be in the pot.
No, dude, we were separated at birth. See, here's the thing. We were triplets. See, because Jackie and I we already established we were separated at birth. So that means that the three of us, we were separated at birth. Well, all of us, really, we were separated at birth. So really, we're coming together. That's, you know, it's just, is it magic? Is it divine? Is it whatever? You know, the bottom line is, let's go with it. Let's do this.
Yeah. I'm
Bring it on.
Bring it on. Don't wait until tomorrow.
No, we're not waiting until tomorrow. We're now in hour 26 of the Block Party Marathon. Woo!
There's something that, you know, I'd like to share with Phalan, you know, and share with everybody. It's rather a synchronicity. So when I was away, when my camera was off, I was over in Periscope, and I haven't used Periscope in a long time, but I was making Periscope videos. And I have one Periscope video that I guess is my biggest success, because it's had 721 views. Woohoo! You know, 721, but for me, that's something, right? So it's from probably about 4 years ago, but I decided to, well, there's a couple of things going on in my head and in Canada. And one of the reasons why you may think Miles is sort of somewhat like, he's kind of like distant from getting involved in things. And that's for a reason, because I'm trying to grapple with a fundamental governance issue, which is because we haven't included First Nations, Indigenous people properly in the governance of Canada. So the reason I'm always hesitant to jump on board with anything is because I'm trying to actually change the way I view governance in my country. And before I get involved in anything, I'm trying to understand what free, prior, and informed consent is with the Indigenous people. That's the United Nations Declaration of the Rights of the Indigenous Peoples. So I'm thinking, well, this is the new way of thinking that we need here in Canada. So anyway, the bit of a prelude to explain why you may say, why doesn't he just sort of embrace everything? It's because I want to understand that first. So having said that, this video that I made features the Right Honorable Michel Jean, who was born in Haiti as well. And I just did this little expose on her, and also talked about the Indigenous people in Canada. So anyway, at some point in time, it was strangely, it's still in Periscope. It still exists. A lot of my other videos, for whatever reason, they've eliminated, or there's just thumbnails. You can't actually click on them. But anyway, I just wanted, in summary, to say that I would love to play that for you. And, you know, maybe like Michel, the Right Honorable Michel Jean, and the reason I use that title is because the title still belongs to her. She was the head of state, or she was higher than the prime minister. Like everybody talks about, oh, prime minister so and so Trudeau, Justin Trudeau, but he actually is just a servant to the governor general. The governor general is the commander in chief. So there was a period of time in Canada where a Haitian-born Black woman was our commander in chief. And and she still is operating a foundation, and I don't know a lot about it, but I do mention it. And so maybe maybe there'd be some sort of a synchronicity that you'd be interested in exploring, which is cross-border.
Yeah, I think so.
So maybe next block party, because everybody's pretty tired. You don't want to sit through that video at this time. I could spin it next time. Thank you.
It's so ironic because, as Lauren will tell you too, we're part of another group. Well, a lot of the people that I'm currently working with, even on my startup, well, the core group of people came from Practical Knowledge Ecology group that Lauren started. And when I was playing around with this idea, I really wanted to find a way to democratize technology for underserved communities, and specifically the older generation. How is it that I might be able to allow them to make contributions to the world at large, share their seeds of wisdom, you know? And I didn't stop there. I really started to explore how is it that I can embody the perspectives of not just Indigenous people, but just Indigenous people, all people. How is it that I can design technology around some of the mythopoetic themes that govern their lives and our lives, and find a way to design inclusivity of perspective and an agency, you know, into something. So that resonates with me. That resonates with me deeply. I've been sitting and listening quietly to Indigenous people talk about some of the issues that they have with technology, and having that be a governing principle in my ideation.
Yeah, there's an amazing faith keeper named Oren Lyons of the Haudenosaunee and New York. He's in New York. He actually worked in in the advertising district of New York City. He's an accomplished artist. I pray that he's still in good health because he's a very elderly man now. But oh man, if you go into YouTube and you pull up his interview with Bill Moyers from, I'm thinking that was in the 80s. He did that interview, and he talks about the Haudenosaunee view of the world and life, and he was at a conference of Indigenous leaders, and they were thinking, well, what is the message that we Indigenous people need to take to the world? And I mentioned it earlier at some point, I'm not sure when, but I'm pretty sure I mentioned it here, but maybe at the very beginning of the 24-hour block party, but they came up with this as their statement to the world: value change for survival. Value change for survival. So in other words, we really have to change. We have to examine what it is that we value, and that's what we're really all coming together around, right? It's this, we've got to move from the hoarding economy to the sharing economy, which was already on this land before Europeans and others came in here and essentially usurped their sharing economy for one of capitalism, unfettered basically now. Like, to a degree, capitalism is just actually counting things, but it's gone unfettered, and it's just it's out of control, and it's the furthest thing from sharing.
Yeah, it's really kind of sinister. I get it. Yeah. Thank you. I'm happy to find resonance here. Wow. So this is really the, oh no, you hang out like with 6 people,
It's like what? What did you say, Phalan?
Oh no, like when you have like a deep connection with someone and you're having like a really good conversation, but you don't want to leave this conversation. It's like, okay, well, hang up. No, you hang up. It's like this is the, oh no, you hang up with 6 people.
And 27 hours later, here we are.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and I guess we do have to let these people get some sleep. Like myself, I went to bed at, I don't know, midnight or whatever. I fell asleep actually listening on Twitch to you guys talking, now, so I'm bright-eyed and bushy-tailed here, but, Jackie and Gene, they got to get some sleep.
But it's so cool, though. I know there's a lot of stuff to harvest here. I can't wait to see what Lauren or any of the scribes within the group can piece together, like all of the little gems, because this collective intelligence stuff works. And once we can kind of clearly find that signal and enhance it, there's a lot there. There's a lot there. It's a pattern for the world.
This is a delicious multicultural soup we're making. It's full of adobo and sofrito and ajo, and everyone's just throwing like little pieces of culture in there. We represent different ethnicities, we represent different countries, different cultures, different communities. I mean, what a more beautiful reflection of this effort than to bring a prism of humanity to come and shine that light of healing, that light of selflessness, compassion, love, our higher selves in action. I mean, what a beautiful prism to bring. We all come together as one, but you look at us all and we represent different faces, but that can all reflect the community. it's an absolutely beautiful manifestation. Seriously, you
Yeah.
can't make this stuff up.
Yeah, you can. You can. You just have to experience it, right?
Really do.
Yeah. It's
So
beautiful.
I'm going to make my parting comment and just thank everybody for coming together over the 24 hours. You know, it's just that everybody's giving, and there's so much to learn and then to apply. You know, that's the next thing. That's the stone soup that actually start manifesting into an actual pot of soup, right? So yeah, but it's just an amazing community here, and yeah, I look forward to spinning my little video, or at least some of it, and the next week's block party. So we will see you then. So wonderful to meet Phalan today, and thank you, Jackie. Thank you, Emery. Thank you, Shankar. Thank you, Jamin, for starting this stone soup. And everybody else.
Miles,
Hello.
just stick the link before you go. Put the link.
Oh, okay, I will. I'll do that. I'll just disappear right now, and hopefully the link will work, and we'll talk to you. We'll see you next week.
Yep.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Miles. Great to see you, bro.
Talk to you
Take care.
Bye.
Have a great weekend. See you soon. Thanks.
You too.
Well, I think I need to leave too. I have a meeting with my group soon, and I'm on schedule to get some work done.
Awesome.
So,
Awesome.
And I think I too shall leave this beautiful space and get some rest. I don't know if I'll get some sleep because I'm all wired and excited.
We had our countdown.
Yes, we
We
did.
had our countdown, right?
yeah.
And,
Well, I think we may be breaking the record for the longest, actual block party. So really kudos, everybody. 25 and a half hours. Woo!
That's a lot.
This is block party number 14. We haven't missed a week. We haven't missed an hour. Just every Friday, Saturday, 24 hours straight. So welcome home. And, just your Fridays are now spoken for, brother.
I see that. I absolutely see that. I'm loving it.
And if you got stuff going on with other people, just bring them with you. There's plenty of room here.
Mm-hmm.
Just bring them. Yeah.
Thank you. It's a pleasure meeting and connecting, and happy to be home, brother.
Awesome. All right. And we also have meetings on Tuesdays, and that's all up on radish.org. So please check it out. Join us on Tuesdays as well if you'd like.
Okay.
That's a short meeting. That's only 8 hours. The meeting on Tuesday. Just a quick check-in, early week check-in. No, it's a super cool meeting also.
Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you so much, Phalan. We'll see you soon, brother.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Goodbye too. Love you all. Mwah.
Jackie, sister, great to see you. Oh my goodness, what the hell just happened? Oh, sorry, something happened on my screen. But anyway, sorry about that. Anyway, Jackie, sister, my goodness. I'm going to stop recording just so we can say goodbye properly. All right. As a final note to the end of this block party number 14, is I'm just noticing, I'd commented on this a couple of times during the block party that, that Melissa had asked me, a few days ago, why did it take us so long, to get to this realization of Operation Stone Soup, et cetera, Brooklyn and all that. And I thought about it for a moment, and it became pretty clear that prior to having this capability, it was actually really hard to imagine this level of coordination and collective intelligence coming together. Let me just talk to the chipmunks real quick. I'll be right back. All right, sorry, the chipmunks were squabbling there. But anyway, it's because until we had this capability, it was hard to imagine this level of coordination and cooperation and collective intelligence. And it's pretty clear that we're now in a very virtuous cycle that could be exponential with a pretty strong exponent. And here's kind of what I'm talking about. So this rudimentary form of a set of technologies coming together, I say more on the rudimentary later. Let me talk to the chipmunks. All right, sorry, the chipmunks are squabbling. I'm trying to teach them to share just like the crows. But anyway, it's all good. So this rudimentary set of technologies has enabled us to come together and co-imagine and co-create Brooklyn Eats, the Brooklyn Singularity, Operation Stone Soup, and so many other parts of this. Okay, all of this that we're co-creating is going to bring huge segments of humanity together. I mean, quite easily a majority of humanity within a very short period of time. All of this will create the raw materials for a tremendous acceleration in collective intelligence, leading to collective superintelligence, because we'll all be coordinating and collaborating around something that is very near and dear to our hearts, our ability to eat and our ability to share and work together. All this goes together. And so we will evolve our collective superintelligence, including the tools of it, including the culture, including rules, including all aspects of it, the social media aspects, the database aspects, the tagging, linking, transcription, all kinds of advanced search and broadcasting scenarios. Anyway, stuff we've talked about extensively on previous block parties and solution clubs. With all of those evolutions in technology, combined with the much more important part, which is many more, millions more, tens of millions, hundreds of millions more people joining the effort. And, you know, which is anywhere from thinking about strategy and participating in conversations about planetary scale strategy for how do we, you know, get all this done and SRM in time and avert this and avert that and make sure we achieve this other thing. So that's where, you know, anywhere from planetary scale strategy conversations all the way down to the minutia of particular details within, you know, a particular solution or program or what have you. Everyone is invited to participate. Significant percentages of humanity will participate. And this will, all of that I've just mentioned in the last few minutes will make collective superintelligence just exponentiate like crazy. And that will in turn enable us to do more and more and better projects, programs, solutions, strategies, stories, you name it, to further empower humanity, further support humanity and all of our brother and sister species. And that additional empowerment will in turn enable us to reach to new heights in terms of collective superintelligence. And so a very powerful and very benevolent, virtuous cycle will ensue. So anyway, just wanted to close on those thoughts. And there go the chipmunks again. Hey, you guys, come on. Okay. And as to the complexity of all this, especially all the stuff I just mentioned, see, right now in mid-May 2020, you know, there's a fair amount of stuff developed out there in terms of social media, but not very much in terms of collective intelligence that's well known. In terms of the collective superintelligence that we've been exploring and that you can learn about in the 30-minute video on the Block Party page. That's all going to change very soon, very quickly, very powerfully. And there's just going to be a lot more complexity involved in all of this, as well as in the solutions and everything else. And anyway, those are my thoughts for now. I could go on and on, but let's leave it at that. It's been an amazing block party. It went for almost 26 hours. Thanks so much to everyone. Thank you for watching, and we'll look forward to seeing you on the next one. Jamin Shively, radish.org, and we'll see you soon. Thanks.